was 29 and a half, for those of you who remember, I woke up in a panic one morning with the realisation that soon I would be 30, my life was halfway over, and I'd done none of the things I was going to do. I didn't appreciate that I already had 2 beautiful, healthy sons. I lived in a comfortable house. I was married to a hard-working man who loved me, and I was well provided for. Here I was with more of my life ahead of me than behind me, unlike now where it's the reverse. With age comes wisdom, and now I can see how lucky I was. It has been a wonderful journey, sometimes a little bumpy, but things all turned out in the end as they always do. It's my motto.
I know.
I'm grateful to my family for enriching my life, to my parents and my siblings who made me who I am. Being the baby in the family was a very secure position to be in. I always felt that there was no situation I could get into that they couldn't rescue me from. In retrospect, I realised that my midlife crisis at 29 and a half was really the realisation that I'd grown up and that we were now different entities. My parents had both died and my sister and brother each had their own families, and I was now responsible for myself and my own husband and children. I owe a huge debt to my late sister Helen. She was the trailblazer in our family. She paved the way for me with my overprotective parents. She taught me lots of things, not the least of which was an appreciation of music. She took me to see Fantasia when I was very young, to the youth concerts at Melbourne Town Hall, and to see West Side Story and My Fair Lady. Under sufferance, she was forced to take me to Little Jerusalem at St Kilda Beach. When I think of it now, what an impediment it must have been for her as a 16-year-old to have her 9-year-old sister in tow. When I was 16, Michael and then Tamara came into my life. I was fiercely proud of both of them and loved watching them grow up. To my big brother David, wherever he is,
Here. He's down here.
He's a bit shorter.
I was afforded the privilege of watching him play chess with his friends as long as I cleaned his school shoes. He too was my advocate, my protector and my yardstick. If I told him about a new friend I'd made, he'd tell me to give her 6pence and tell her to ring him when she grew up. To Stephen, my rock. He's solid, he's kind and considerate. I'd like to say he's reliable. He means to be reliable. As soon as the words leave his mouth, he seems to have forgotten them. I'm both annoyed and grateful that in recent times he tells me when it's safe to cross the road, he reverses my car into the garage so that I don't have to back out. He instructs me on how to pack a suitcase, and he restacks the dishwasher after I've done it. For those of you who drive down Hampden Road at 8:45 on a Wednesday morning, he can be seen sweeping the leaves out onto the road so that the street sweeper will pick up the leaves, all the leaves. When he was a regular fixture at any Monash, he could tell them how many lights weren't working in the car park and on each floor. Last week I was feeling rather dejected about having this celebration tonight. After all, the people who I cared about most in the world, my children and my grandchildren, sorry everyone else, on the other side of the world. Daniel told me that if they had time, he and Jonathan would write something for tonight and would try to find someone here tonight to read it out for them. The words of Khalil Gibran kept going through my mind. Your children are not your children, they come through you but not from you. And though they are with you, they belong not to you. I worry that perhaps my sons have moved to the other side of the world to get as far away as possible from me. Khalil Gibran said, if you love somebody, let them go, for if they return, they were always yours, and if they...
Oh, no.
Oh, no. She was doing so well.
If you love somebody, let them go, for if they return, they were always yours, and if they don't, they never were. I'm happy to say that one of the ones that I love, Daniel, has come back to surprise and delight me. Jonathan, of course, says that it would have been even more perfect if it had been him. Even though we're separated by the tyranny of distance, thanks to modern technology, I speak to them both several times a week, which is probably more than if they lived around the corner. I love our family WhatsApp, where we can all post photos and talk to each other about what's happening in our lives, whether it's Ori's sprained ankle after rugby, or Jazzy's Halloween outfit, or Shira's first time riding a bike. There's still a great connection despite the distance. We had a very special time together in July when we were all in Spain, and I have many wonderful memories of that time. Hopefully we'll be able to do it again. The pleasure I get from seeing the family together is immeasurable. I'm surrounded by a wonderful extended family, my two sisters-in-law, my beautiful and very special nieces and nephews, and my great nieces and nephews. It is a privilege watching the Gross boys, the Grossman girls, and the Robinson kids all grow up. They each have their own particular idiosyncrasies, and it is wonderful watching them develop into distinct individuals. Thanks to all of you here for being part of my life. And on behalf of Raucous, Jewish Care, the Holocaust Centre, and Hatzolah, and anybody else, thank you for your generous donations.